Hi, I am Danish Surya Jennifer, Assistant Professor from Biomedical Department from Rohini College of Engineering and Technology. Today we are going to see about cardiovascular system and how it works and what is the structure and properties. Next, we are seeing about the anatomy of the heart. Here, the heart consists of four different auricle and two right auricle, left auricle, and right ventricle and left ventricle. This is the main thing of a heart. It has four chambers. This chambers is separated by a tricuspid wall and a bicuspid wall. So the blood which is oozing out inside the heart from the inferior vena cava, that is the part which is present below your heart, and the superior vena cava which collects the blood from upper part of your heart, that is from head to your heart. So it collects the impure blood and it passes through the tricuspid wall and gives the blood back to the left pulmonary artery, and it travels to the lungs for the purification, and it returns back to the heart by the left pulmonary veins. So due through this left ventricle pulmonary veins, the blood will be oozes out into the left atrium, and that left atrium and left ventricle will be separated by a valve called mitral valve. That valve will allow the blood to pass through the next section, and which is traveled through the aorta. So this aorta is a main part which helps to uh, travel the whole body. The oxygenated blood is traveled through this aorta. So next we are going to see about the layers of the heart. There are three different layers, that is epicardium, myocardium and endocardium. So epicardium is differentiated as pericardium, which is a double serous membrane, and visceral pericardium, which is next to your heart visceral, and parietal pericardium, which is our outer side layer, and the serous fluid will be filled between the space between the layers of the pericardium. There is some connective tissue layers also there. So the second part is myocardium, which is known as the in middle layer, and mostly it is also called as a cardiac muscle. So endocardium is the inner layer, and endothelium, it is also called as endothelium. So next, the types of valves which is present, I have already explained that, but which allows the blood to flow in only one direction, not in a backward direction. It will flow only in a single way. So it has four valves, that is atrioventricular valve, which will be present between your artery and ventricles, that is bicuspid or mitral valve, which will be present between your left auricle and left ventricle, and tricuspid valve, which is between your right auricle and right ventricle. Semilunar valves will be present between your ventricles and arteries, that is pulmonary semilunar valve and aortic semilunar valve. So here is the direction of a blood. So the blood will be collected from here, and it is flows from the right atrium to the right ventricle, and it is passes to the lungs for purification. After purification is collects the blood through the pulmonary veins from lungs to the left auricle, and it travels through the left ventricle, and it passes to the whole body through the aorta. So here the red color indicates the oxygenated blood content, and blue color indicates the deoxygenated blood content. Okay, here the right side of your heart receives the venous blood, that is impure blood, which will be systematically circulate around your body. So it collects the blood from the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava into your right atrium. So it pumps the blood to pulmonary circulation from right to the from to right ventricle. Okay. So left side of the heart, which is receives oxygenated blood from the pulmonary veins, and it pumps the blood into the systematic circulation. So next, the cardiac muscle. How much type of a cardiac muscle is there? That is the myocardium, which has three types of muscle fibers, which are the muscle fibers which forms contractile unit of heart, and muscle fibers which forms the pacemaker, and the muscle fibers which forms the conductive system. These are the three different types of myocardium which is present in our cardiac muscle. So this cardiac muscle will be made up of a striated and resembles the skeletal muscle fiber, and sarcomere is the functional unit of that cardiac muscle. So sarcomere means what? Means it is a cardiac muscle which has the contractile of a protein, namely actin, myosin, and tropin, and tropomyosin. So the cardiac muscle fiber is bounded by the sacrolemma. It has a centrally placed nucleus, and microfibrils are embedded in the sacroplasm. So sacroplasmic reticulum is less abundant than in skeletal muscle. So sacrolemma is voltage gated, which is done by a calcium 2 plus ions. This is the diagram which shows the presence of a fibers which is branched inside your cardiac muscle. So it has a actin like our chip. It will be having a connection between that is called as desmosomes, which helps to convert the information from one fiber to the next fiber. So it acts as like a chip like structure. Okay. Next, the microfibers which forms the pacemaker. What does mean by pacemaker? A pacemaker is a cell which is placed in a sinoauricular node, which will be present above your heart, which helps to it gives an stimulation power to work the heart. So which will be called as a pacemaker. That is a sinoauricular node is called as a pacemaker. So the muscle fibers which forms a conductive system, how this muscle fibers is conducting its information from one fiber to the next fiber is through this SA node. It transmit to the artery directly. However, the impulse are transmitted to the ventricles through various components of the conductive system. So the conductive system of the heart, which is originated from the sinoauricular node, and it travels to the atrioventricular node, and it to the AV bundle, and it is transmitted to the bundle of branches, and then to the Purkinje fibers. Thus, the sound travels from the conduction system has traveled from the sinoauricular node to the ventricular atrium. Okay, ventricles. And